Alabama about to explode and become the focal point of the motorsports world. This afternoon, NASCAR's wildest track hosts the sport's closest championship battle. Hornaday had issues in Vegas, and that opened the door. Quapple with the win, Skinner back in the driver's seat. Trucks in Talladega, the wait is over. Even if you're a new NASCAR fan, you've heard of Talladega. Will Ferrell turned it into a household name. Drivers turn this track with white knuckles. It's pure adrenaline, and we bottle it for you. Get ready to be set up.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by the Ford F-150, built Ford tough. By the official tools of NASCAR, Craftsman, and by Fastenal. We get it right. Welcome back. A cloudy, overcast day at Talladega, Alabama, and the Talladega Superspeedway. Take a look at our temperature, 85 degrees, partly cloudy, just a slight breeze. Should be great conditions for racing today here at Talladega. And we're going to take a look at our Ford point standings, and I will introduce the pole sitter for tomorrow's race. Michael Waltrip now joining us up here as we look at our very tight points battle here without a chase.
This is great. You know, when you've got two guys like Hornaday and Skinner, they're both champions. They've raced for these titles before. They know the significance of getting that trophy, that championship trophy. And look at them, 3 points apart. I bet you they can't hardly breathe right now starting this race at Talladega.
Las Vegas, we said Travis Quapple was going to have to make something happen to play his way back into this race, and that he did.
Oh, he was fantastic out there. I love the way he ran that race. It was out of the question. He looked good early. Then it looked like he was going to lose it. And he won at the end.
That was Vegas.
That's where you win at, by the way.
Let's take a look at our track description here and have a couple race winners talk about it.
Well, Phil, I know you've raced here 100 times. You've won here. But when they repaved it, it made it a different place. You would not believe what it feels like to go around this place.
I was out there right after qualifying in the Speed 1 car. I rode around it last year in a pace car at 60, 70 miles an hour, and it was smooth, but it's wicked smooth at 180 miles an hour.
We were fortunate enough to win this pole a minute ago, and when I took my second lap, I concentrated so hard, Phil, and I know I didn't have anything to do with it, but
I'm not turning the steering wheel.
I just tried to. I felt like a surgeon. I was in there just looking at anything I could do not to move, and we were fast enough to get the pole, but that's a lot of work by the guys to get you a pole here at Talladega.
Our restored race analysis, just under $1 million, $780,000 the purse. Pit window, 35 to 40 laps. And again, this is a big racetrack.
What you want to do is you'll back that up, Rick. I'm pretty sure these guys are going to want shock position, so once they get within that window near the end of the race, they'll go ahead and stop, won't come back to pit road after that.
Yeah, put their tires on then and say, driver, it's up to you.
A big party here at Talladega Superspeedway whenever the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series comes. Obviously our second showing here. And to get this race underway, let's go back trackside for today's command.
Race fans, it's time for the most famous words in motorsports. Here to give that command is Vice President of Sports, Media, and Interactive Marketing, Pepsi-Cola North America, Ralph Santana.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
And that was a good command, I think. I'm just a little bit worried if he's going to open that Mountain Dew up at any time, because it's going to splash.
He might have been all hopped up on Mountain Dew.
He's ready to go. The Mountain Dew 250 coming up right here on Speed when we return. Trucks just beginning to roll off of pit road and onto this 2.66 mile super speedway we call Talladega Superspeedway. Our starting grid today will roll across the bottom of the screen. On the pole for his second pole of 2007 is Todd Bodine. Jack Sprague with an impressive qualifying run will start on his outside. That will continue to roll across the bottom as we will shine a spotlight on a few different drivers. And we'll start with Bob Dillner. He's got his spotlight on Derek Cope.
And Derek Cope has nearly 30 NASCAR starts here at Talladega. He'll start 35th today, but he's had some big time trouble here this weekend. He was involved in a practice wreck and did not qualify that truck. But this team worked endless hours to repair and smooth this truck so it could run here today. They call it now the golf ball, and that's because it still has some dents and divots on it. But they tell me a golf ball is lightning fast, and this truck will be fast here today. Derek Cope plans to come to the front. Adam?
Jacques Villeneuve made his NASCAR debut 2 weeks ago, Bob, at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. He got beat up a little bit, but he finished 21st. Not bad for a guy who's experienced all other kinds of racing. He's a former Indy 500 winner and F1 champ. He's done it all, but never has he raced for real in the draft at Talladega. His eyes will be open today, and all the eyes of NASCAR will be watching. He starts 10th here this afternoon. Phil?
Adam, I want to take a look at the number 03 of Mike Wallace. He's driving the Southeastern Toyota dealers Toyota for Germain Racing. Germain's third truck in this field. When you come to a restrictor plate racetrack, when drafting is key, you want a guy like Mike Wallace in your truck or your car. He will be running the Nextel Cup race tomorrow. He's won in the Truck Series at Daytona. He's won in the Busch Series at Daytona, and he wants to put a win at Talladega in his resume. Mikey.
And you got to think it's coming. That cat can draft better than anybody ever seen. Look at this guy, Dennis Setzer. Got him a new ride a couple weeks ago. Responded with a great run out in Vegas. He's going to drive this truck for the rest of the year, Phil. And, you know, that'll give that man the confidence he needs to get a win, I think, before this year's over. It could come today.
We're going to ride along with a few different drivers, one of those being Rowdy Busch. Kyle Busch will be starting in the number 51 Chevrolet. He starts in the 29th position. We'll ride along with him and watch the excitement from his windshield and cockpit.
We're also going to ride along in that Fastenal Dodge with Dennis Setzer. You mentioned a great run at Las Vegas. 7th place finish out there in his first start for Bobby Hamilton Racing. Looking to improve on that here. Dennis Setzer back in a Dodge. Had a lot of success in the Dodge early in his Craftsman Truck Series career. He will be starting back in the 23rd position.
We'll ride along with Rick Crawford, Phil. He's starting in 22nd. You know, he's won at these races. He knows what it's like to win at one of these big restrictor plate tracks. He did it in dramatic fashion back in 03 at Daytona. So look for him, a guy that knows how to win, to shoot up from the 23rd spot. Plus, yeah, I forgot, he's got a teammate this year. That can help him big time. You need some help to win these races. He's got a guy, Dennis Starr, that he can rely on.
Talk about teammates. Johnny Benson has a teammate that will help him on the racetrack today. He will start in the 17th position, actually the furthest back of any of the Toyota qualifiers, but it was an impressive qualifying effort for Toyota here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We saw Jacques Villeneuve drop to the back. It was more than likely he was indexing his steering wheel on the back stretch. They always tell him before they're going into turn 3, if it's not straight, stop back there, index that, and then move forward. We'll be back for the green flag of the Mountain Dew 250 right after this. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. We get an aerial shot from our Goodyear blimp. The aerial coverage provided to you by Goodyear for track-tested technology. Get there on Goodyear Innovation. Let's go down to trackside for our thoughts before green, beginning with Adam Alexander.
You know, Rick, it's not been the kind of season that Jack Sprague hoped for. He's currently 10th in Truck Series points, and he's finished outside the top 20 in 2 of the last 3 races. But you go back to Daytona, he won the season opener after leading 16 laps. And here today, he brings that same machine starting on the outside over 01. It would be a great day to erase a tough season by sweeping the 2 Superspeedway races for Jack Sprague. And I think they've got the team that has an opportunity to do it here today. Bob?
Hey, Adam, John Wood was supposed to start 20th in his number 21 truck here today, but a problem during qualifying has made this team actually change something. He felt a little burp in the engine, so the team went through this truck and had to change the fuel filter here today. So John Wood will drop to the rear of the field and start there, but you know what? He's going to stay there for a while. Crew Chief John Monson said, hey, we're going to stay back there and ride, stay out of the big one, and then come up through the field at the end of the race. He's been back for 7 races, and John Wood has been very good in the Craftsman Truck Series with 5 top 10 finishes. He wants to win today at Talladega, guys.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Bob. They'll be covering all of the action that will take place on pit road today. They're being told, the drivers are being told, one more time around we'll see the green flag. Before we see that, we always talk about bump drafting when we come to Daytona or Talladega. Can the trucks bump draft better than, say, the COT cars?
No.
The bumpers don't line up as well.
Worse things happen. The back bumper of the truck ahead doesn't match the front one, and you pull his wheels up off the ground. We've seen it 100 times. It's a very, very dangerous game. Unfortunately, Rick, the bonus that you get for doing it, far outweighs the risk that you're going to take if you do it right.
Yeah.
So you want to bump draft, but you got to know what you're doing, and you got to be very careful about it. It's risk reward, and usually the guy doing the bumping is taking the risk, and the guy that he hits don't get any reward.
And normally in the driver's meeting, Phil, Wayne Otten, our series director, will say, all right, we don't want you bumping out there. We don't want you bumping on the racetrack. But most certainly, we don't want you touching in the corners.
Well, and this trial oval is very dangerous, too, to do that, Rick.
It's a turn.
You start
It's not a
turning,
straightaway.
You start turning way back off turn 4 for the trial oval, and you don't stop till you get past the start-finish line with your wheels cut. When somebody pushes against you and you got your wheels cut, it wants to get the truck out from underneath of you. I do not like bump drafting at all. I think a really cool thing would be to do is let the guys no, you can't have anything in front of your radiator. So if you go bash into somebody, you're going to risk busting your nose up and messing your truck up. And put maybe a big bumper in the back of a truck so that if you do take that chance, you bust your stuff out and you cut it down. The car tomorrow, it's better because the bumpers match up more.
Look at this stat right here. Over half our field has won in the Craftsman Truck Series. 19 of the 36 drivers in this field, led by Ron Hornaday, who's our career leader with 38 wins, have won in the Craftsman Truck Series.
Look at all those wins by that small select group right there. That's a majority of the races.
A lot of short track wins also in that number that you see there. The field coming through 3 and 4 now, and this is when everyone will be right up on the steering wheel. The green flag about to fly.
My entire career, when we got our schedule early in the year or late in the year before, whatever, I always looked to see when Talladega was, because I always loved coming here because I wanted to go fast. My whole life I wanted to go fast, and I know you've had a lot of success here, Michael, and I just love coming to this racetrack.
We're like Ricky Bobby, you know, we just want to go fast.
That made famous right here at this racetrack, Talladega Superspeedway. Again, it's Todd Bodine and Jack Sprague, your front row as they come through the Tri-Oval. This is a unique racetrack in the fact that the Tri-Oval does not have the start-finish line. It is past the Tri-Oval when they will see the green flag. They're coming through that Tri-Oval, and now they see the green flag, and we're underway at Talladega Superspeedway.
Great start for Todd Bodine. As the pole sitter, you really, really want to get a jump on that guy on the outside and get up in line. If you get hung beside someone, you'll lose all kinds of positions down the back straightaway. Sometimes you want to do it so bad you jump the start. I think the 10 truck did just that, Rick.
10 truck, David Starr got a black flag from NASCAR because he tried to pass before the start.
What happened?
Looked like there was some bump drafting going on. It looked like the 99 of Eric Darnell got a little bit loose.
We weren't even in high gear good yet, Phil. They've already tried to wreck each other.
Half a lap, guys, and we're 4 wide already down the backstretch.
And you know, this makes no sense to me, Rick. These guys all know that this race is some 90 laps long. Phil, they could just chill for about 50 laps.
No, wait a minute. You're a race car driver. You telling me you can chill?
Well, that's why he's had success here, because he knows how to get to the end of these type of races.
3 wide through the Tri-Oval now.
You got a guy like Kyle Busch in the back of the field. You got Travis Quapple, who's needing to make something happen, like Phil said last week. He wants points. He's going to try to get up there and lead this race. He wants to get that lead and hopefully gain those 5 bonus points. That'll continue his march toward making this a 3-truck battle for the championship.
Teammates nose to tail. Travis Quapple with TJ Bell right behind him. That's 6 and the 50 going nose to tail. Up front, it's the Toyotas that are nose to tail. Jack Sprague in front of Todd Bodine now as they go through turns 3 and 4. Just behind them, it's Eric Darnell in that Ford, number 99.
Now, you remember in qualifying, it was totally dominated by the Fords and the Toyota, excuse me. That's all over now, Rick. These guys, it doesn't matter what you're driving, it's going to draft up.
2 and 3 wide. We see the single file line down on the bottom of the racetrack. You cannot pass underneath the yellow line. That is a penalty, and we saw it a year ago with Todd Bodine. He had to go to the back of the field because of that.
And it's very simple. You do not improve your position by going below that yellow line. We heard Todd's guy argue last year. He forced us down there. Well, Todd kept going. It's simple. That's out of bounds. You can't do that. Back off, get back in line, and then complain to NASCAR and say, I did what I was supposed to. Black flag that guy. He tried to push me under the yellow line.
A top line headed up by Jason Leffler in the number 1. Red Horse Racing, number 1.
We're getting a report that Johnny Benson has made some contact with somebody. Something is hanging off his truck. See it right there.
Sure enough,
A little bit of bump drafting gone bad right there, looks like. Somebody got into the back of him. You know, it was funny watching the ARCA race yesterday, Michael. The outside groove, which oftentimes here is very, very fast, really never came in. I mean, it's not that you couldn't run up there, but they never gained any ground. But I don't know that we're going to see that in the Truck Series because these trucks punch such a big hole in the air. But we didn't see that outside groove really make some ground up yesterday in that ARCA race.
Adam Alexander, what's the 10 team talking about now?
Well, you guys talked about the fact that they were black flag passing before the start-finish line to the right side, and unfortunately for him, he's had a hard time getting out of the draft to make the pass-through penalty. So the spotter is encouraging him drop to the tail end of the field so he can get through. And there you see him on screen out of the draft so he can make that pass-through penalty. In some ways, the race over before it starts for David Starr here today. It's going to be a challenge from here.
And I cannot tell you how much slower he will be running by himself in this pack of trucks right here. The pole was a full 11 miles an hour slower than our fastest practice speeds in happy hour.
Phil, I'm not sure that you and Hermie out there in the speed cars earlier actually ran as fast as Michael did.
I think
on a solo run.
I think
but you guys may have gone just a tick faster.
No,
you actually went a couple laps further. You said you worked harder.
I worked a lot harder. Michael only ran 2 laps, and I ran a half a dozen.
You looked good out there, I'll tell you that. Now, this is a time in the race when you're still very tense. These guys are just now getting their groove on. You know, they're feeling comfortable with what they got. And when you start feeling comfortable, that's why this place is dangerous. Because you start feeling, when I say dangerous, it's not. It's very safe. These guys driving these trucks make them dangerous. Like Mr. Otten said, I've never seen these cars wreck without a driver in them. It gets dangerous because these guys get aggressive. They're wanting to start getting their way in line, cutting in and out.
We're going to let you take a breath. I know we'll want a breath here as we've completed 6 laps. Jack Sprague out in front of the field. First caution of the day has come out here at Talladega Superspeedway. It was 2 trucks that got together. The 4 of Mike Bliss looked as though he cut a tire, and we talked earlier about we saw smoke out of that 4, and as he was moving up the racetrack very hard towards the wall, he caught Jason White just on the front end. Let's take another look, Phil.
Yeah, more than likely he had made contact with somebody or had a tire rub of some sort. Watch top of your screen there. Just took off to the right here, and that truck doesn't do that unless something breaks or a tire goes down. And poor Jason White in the gunbroker.com Dodge had absolutely nowhere to go. We've got 3 Dodges in the field, and 2 of them are taken out in this one accident. There's another view. You see the sparks and everything. That tire is already down, and Mike Bliss takes a hard turn to the wall.
That's why, as a race car driver, that's what you deal with. Jason's out there minding his own business, running along, but you know that disaster is lurking straight ahead. And in this case, he didn't know it was going to come out of left field and knock him into the wall. But darn, you seen this happen before? You got to be prepared and ready for it.
Yeah, but nothing he could do about that. It doesn't matter how prepared he would have been. He was not going to avoid that accident.
He did it. It's unavoidable accidents. You get in those every now and then. Watch how fast this truck goes to the right.
He never even had an opportunity to touch the brakes. It happened so fast. We've got some trucks on pit road.
As they're pulling the 4 of Mike Bliss back behind the wall on pit road. Bob Dillner.
Well, Kyle Busch has been reporting that his water temperature is up to 251 degrees, so they just wanted to come down pit road and pull some tape off that grill, Adam.
And the same situation with Mike Skinner. He too running warm. They're going to pull tape. Also talking about changing 4 tires. That's exactly what they will do. A little bit earlier than what we expected these guys, but you don't want the thing to overheat. The point leader on pit road early at Talladega.
Trucks racing off of pit road. We'll reset where they will start when we restart Talladega Superspeedway. We'll be right back with more Superspeedway racing. FoxSports.com and SpeedTV.com form the most powerful online team in NASCAR. For breaking news, in-depth analysis, detailed driver stats, and more, log on to SpeedTV.com now. Still under our first caution. Take a look. Jason White being towed back in. It was the 4 of Mike Bliss with the hard right-hand turn up into the wall. 2 trucks out of this race early on. Welcome back to the Mountain Dew 250. The field about to get the green once again. Before they do, let's head back trackside to Bob Dillner.
Ron Hornaday battling for a championship here in the Craftsman Truck Series, running 4th right now, but they're keeping an eye on this truck. Like so many others we've just heard from, he's looking at a water temperature situation. He's running about 230 right now, but they're trying to get some air to that nose. Right now, 33, not running well on the high side. They're going to try the low line, Adam.
And we talked about the fact that Travis Quapple, one of those guys that came in at lap 8, he was running a little bit on the warm side like so many other guys we have heard in the early going. He elected to come down pit road, fuel only, a chassis adjustment, and yes, they pulled some tape off the nose. Guys?
Green flag back in the air as they go back up through the gears. Jack Sprague, Todd Bodine, Eric Darnell, Ron Hornaday, and Ted Musgrave are your top 5.
Jack Sprague right in the exact same spot that he ended the race at Daytona in, the lead. You know, Ron Hornaday was talking about how far off he felt like the Chevrolets were, especially in a qualifying type situation, but Ron qualified in the 13th spot, and now he's already up to the top 5.
He did that in 1 lap. Hornaday went from 13th to 4th on the first lap. See the K&N Ford of Travis Quapple trying the center line here.
Kyle Busch is going to ride along with him in the Flanders Beef Patty Chevrolet for Billy Ballou.
You can see these guys are able to make some ground, Phil, as they go to the outside with trucks ahead of them. What gets you in trouble is when the leaders, first 5 or 6 guys, are committed to one another and they're running that bottom. You can't pull out there and pass them. And the reason why that happens is what we preach. What do we say all the time? Be patient. Take your time. There's no reason for these guys running the first 5 spots to do anything other than just ride there for a while.
Absolutely.
Now, we get to thinking, is the bottom better? They can't do nothing. Why? They're not trying to do anything at this point. But in the ARCA race yesterday, when it got time to try to do it, the guy in front was too fast. And a lot of times, the guy in front will be the fastest car, and he'll be hard to pass.
It works out well that way, too.
That's where he winds up at most of the time. Bob, do you agree?
Well, I agree right now that Kyle Busch running a little bit hot on his race truck out there in the number 51. 250 degrees is the water temperature right now. They wanted to bring him down and make a repair to this truck, and you're looking at what they're going to do on the next pit stop. That's Dennis Schoenfeld, and he's preparing a little bit of a screen. They're going to cut a 2-inch hole in the nose of this truck to get some more air to the radiator. They're doing this right now with some screening and some duct tape, and when he comes down pit road the next time by, when there is a caution, they're going to cut that hole and put this on that truck to try to get more air to that nose and rectify that overheating issue.
As the field comes through turn 2 and onto the backstretch, NASCAR is looking closely in that area. I'm guessing a few of the drivers are saying that there's still some debris back there on the racetrack.
Yeah, that was a pretty hard hit between those 2 trucks of Mike Bliss and Jason White, and there was a lot of debris all over the racetrack. Track crew looked like they did a good job getting all that debris picked up, but right now, right against the yellow line, Michael, all the way around the racetrack for the lead trucks.
Now, you can do that for a pretty good while, Phil, but eventually somebody's going to see that outside lane coming. You know, if the guys on the outside are able to make some progress, get up to the first 5 or 6 trucks,
and they can't resist.
No, then they're saying, well, if I jump out there, I'll be the first one of them, and I'll get there first. And so they won't be able to hang this way forever, but for now, Todd Bodine is Jack Sprague's best friend. Just pushing along with him makes his life very easy. But Jack can't relax. He's sitting there thinking, hey, when's he going to pull out? I know he's going to.
He's watching the mirror every second to look to see when that 30 truck ducks his nose out to the outside.
That's my question for you two. Michael, so good at super speedway racetracks where there's drafting involved. Phil, you've won at this racetrack. What is it that you see, or what is it that you feel that you just know, okay, I got to get in that other line now?
You have to have a car or truck that you can forget about driving it. It has to handle so well that you can you aim it and then you look in the mirror. And if you see them getting a run on one side or the other, you adjust to that. You don't cut someone off to get them from taking your place. You cut them off so that they'll push you forward. You want to get in the line that's going the fastest, so you just have to constantly keep your eyeballs in the mirror.
So you're mirror driving here at Talladega Superspeedway, but obviously going 190 to 195 miles an hour. You probably better look forward every now and then.
That's what they call flying looking back. And that's what you do here.
It's still Jack Sprague in front of Todd Bodine, Eric Darnell, Ron Hornaday, and Ted Musgrave.
Speed is at Talladega with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Pit stops underway. We're under caution. A 2-tire stop for Ron Hornaday and fuel, no adjustments, but they are keeping track of that overheating issue for the 33 truck. Adam?
Fuel only for Todd Bodine. Pull some tape off the the grill to help the water temperature for Jack Sprague. Right side tires, he said, no adjustments. This thing is perfect.
Pit strategy early on as Todd Bodine first off of pit road. Jack Sprague follows him. Then it's Mike Skinner. And it looked like Rick Crawford coming out in fourth.
Yeah, we had 3 trucks stay on the racetrack that time, led by the 09 of Joey Clanton. Watch this here. Watch.
Wasn't expecting a 2-tire stop, and look at the NASCAR official. Whoa, got to go.
Oh, that was nice. Ron stopped and checked on him. Usually people knock someone down and they're like, when they get on the track, they say, is he okay?
I hope he's okay.
So 2 tires, some just for fuel. Pit strategy early on at Talladega Superspeedway. No one covers NASCAR like NASCAR on Speed. Friday, tune in all weekend long as we deliver live coverage from Charlotte. Get all the on and off track action with NASCAR on Speed beginning Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, live and only on Speed. Great shot there of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series logo. Just
only on Speed.
On the inside of the tri-oval, we take a look at our pit summary. Jack Sprague came in first, out third. Again, you mentioned truck stayed on the racetrack.
Yeah, we had 3 trucks stay on the racetrack. The 09 of Joey Clanton, the 07 of Tim Sauter, and the 71 of Brian Silas. Joey Clanton and the 71 of Brian Silas both have subsequently come in the pits. So Tim Sauter will actually restart this race up front here as we get ready to restart.
And field coming through the tri-oval again. The start-finish line just past the tri-oval, closer to turn number 1. Out in front of the field, Todd Bodine, Jack Sprague, and Mike Skinner all coming up to speed.
Look at Todd Bodine, goes to the outside. He's going to try to make that outside work. Jack Sprague is going to go with him.
That's going to make it work, Phil. They've got too much momentum. And those trucks, if they line up, they can all go around Sauter. That's what's interesting about the top compared to the bottom. It's how you have your momentum. You know, the guys on the inside are running. If the guys on the outside get some momentum, they can run up to them, but eventually they lose it. Right there, they're just ganging up on Sauter and driving around him.
Look at the 33 of Ron Hornaday, middle of your screen. Jumps to the outside of the 16 of Derek Cope. Has the 59 of Terry Cook right behind him. Now Terry's going to jump down to the middle and get behind Derek Cope.
3 wide here at Talladega Superspeedway. Hey, Bob Dillner, what's going on?
A lot of talk, guys, about pitch strategy down here, and going through the garage area this morning, a lot of teams told me, you know what, tires, putting them on, we're not so sure that's a big help here, and I think that's why you saw a lot of people with different tire strategies down here. Kyle Busch took 4. Some guys took 2. Some guys, like Mike Wallace, didn't take any, fuel only. So that's a big discussion right here, down here on pit road right now, as to whether or not to take tires in these coming pit stops. Adam?
Mike Skinner comes in here, the points leader. He was as deep as 31st in the field after that first pit stop, currently riding 5th. He just came on the radio and said, I want those 5 bonus points for leading as soon as possible. Getting a bit impatient in the early going here at Talladega.
That's why you see an argument at the front of the field generally. Somebody's on a different agenda.
He wants those 5 points, period. And he wants to get them as soon as he can, but what a terrific battle we have up front. Todd Bodine now is our leader of the 30 truck.
And Skinner's beginning to make some ground on him. I mean,
yeah.
He's got some help. You got 2 distinct lines, and that's the reason why the outside line's working. They've got enough help up there to make it work.
Yeah, Derek Cope, the 16 truck, has jumped up behind that 5 of Mike Skinner. Josh Wise right now is being shown in the 3rd position on the inside of that 5 of Mike Skinner. Here's Dennis Setzer's on board. The Fastenal Dodge has David Starr, the 10 right in front of him. By the way, David Starr was black flagged, had a pass-through penalty for jumping the initial start when we had that accident off turn number 2. He had never lost a lap, so he is on the lead lap in contention.
Saw Josh Wise there for a second in that Aaron's Dream Machine truck. I'm impressed with him. He raced dirt his whole life. He's raced asphalt 6 or 8 times, 10 times maybe this year in the ARCA car in this truck. He just seems to get it. Knows what he's doing, puts himself in good positions. Right now he's put himself in the 3rd position, and that's pretty doggone good.
Last 2 times out, top 10 finishes for Josh. St. Louis 8th and 6th at Las Vegas.
And he's sandwiched right there between Daytona winner Crawford, champion Skinner, and Sprague. So he's sucking that up. You know, he's learning so much right now from these guys, and he knows that he has to keep his nose clean and be smart. He can't do anything crazy or they won't respect him, and he won't be able to set between them like that because they'll knock him out of the way.
See that 16 truck right there? Remember how we talk about qualifying not really being all that important here? That truck didn't even qualify. He wasn't even able to make an attempt to qualify.
Bob Dillner, what do you know about Josh Wise?
Well, I got a chance to spend some time with Josh Wise yesterday right after qualifying. He said, you know what, today is like restrictor plate 101 for me. He ran the ARCA REMAX Series race yesterday, but this is a whole new learning process for Josh Wise. He's a good kid, a former USAC champion, but today it's about learning, not necessarily finishing near the front, just getting that knowledge of how to do things in the draft here today at Talladega, Michael.
And he's going to learn from guys like Derek Cope. A year ago, Derek had a chance to win this race. This year, he doesn't even get to qualify. We aren't even 25 laps into the race. He's up running for the lead. So Derek's won at Daytona. These guys that are around him know what they're doing, and so Josh is real fortunate right now to be able to suck all that information up.
And it goes back to over half the field here has won in the Craftsman Truck Series. See, look, is that Kyle Busch that pulled way down below the yellow line?
Yep. He might have needed some air.
Yeah, I think he was just moving back. He was not trying to advance his position. He was just moving back, trying to get out of the way to do that.
And you can run under that line as long as you don't improve your position. So if you need to go down there to get some fresh air into your grill because you're a little bit hot, or if you need to pull over because you're not comfortable with what you're doing, you can pull over and use the bottom of the racetrack.
You know, we talk about Josh Wise and his learning experience. There's another guy out here that is learning a lot right now, and that's Jacques Villeneuve. He's in the number 27, and he is doing a lot of learning right now because he is going to be racing tomorrow.
Made the race. That's impressive. And I think that I don't have a couple people complaining about him being here. I don't have a problem with that dude here. He knows how to race. I mean, this is a different deal, but he's smart enough to figure it out really quickly, I promise you.
I mean, Indy 500, he runs 230 miles an hour at California, Michigan Speedway, Formula One world champion. I think he's more than qualified to race here at Talladega.
And that's another thing I've heard out of the garage area over there that you can't see out of the COT. Well, I'd like to remind everyone, you couldn't see out of the other one either. You get those cars all so close together, you can't see through them. You know, it's just part of it.
Bob Dillner.
Well, Jacques Villeneuve struggling with that truck right now. Before that pit stop, it was really, really loose on the edge of out of control. So when they came down pit road, they made some adjustments to that truck, and Jacques just radioed to his crew. He said, hey, it's a little bit better, but you know what? I'm not in a pack right now, so I'm getting a false sense of security. That sounds like a big, big mature statement from the former F1 champion over here making his second Craftsman Truck Series start.
You know, the problem right now for Jacques Villeneuve, he's back there not running in that lead pack, and that lap he ran 2 seconds slower than what our leader did.
Yeah, that lead pack now is about 30 trucks strong, and there's another pack that's behind him that Jacques is a part of, and he's only in a 3-truck pack. And so they're not going to move through the air as well as this big pack.
You fall back in a group like that, and you say, okay, my truck's better. I'm just going to hang out for a little bit. And you feel comfortable for 2 or 3 laps. And then you go down the back straightaway, and all of a sudden the other group turns into turn 3, and you can't see them anymore.
Yeah.
And then you become very uncomfortable because you say, well, I need to be back up there. And so you hope that a caution comes out because that's their only chance right now. They need to have a caution come out so they can gather back up. Now Jacques understands how easy it is to lose that big pack. He'll be a little bit more aggressive, hang on to the back of it more, be more dedicated to hang on to the back of it next time.
And the problem is right now, he's running wide open. I mean, he's not back there riding around because he is running wide open with 2 other trucks, and they're still getting beat by well over a second by the leaders.
Looking back from Dennis Setzer's onboard. Back at that Camping World Chevrolet that's behind him. Another truck running up toward the front was Eric Darnell early on. Adam, what are they talking about now?
Third's the highest they've been in the running order today, but unfortunately issues right now. The water temperature, Rick, had climbed to 270. So Matt Pusha, the crew chief, said you're going to have to get out of the draft and get some clean air to the nose of that truck. He has done so and since reported back that it's 245 on the water gauge. Unfortunately for him, he's running in the 26th position, way behind the draft. He's going to have to be patient here this afternoon.
You hear that word patience all the time when we come to Talladega in the Superspeedway. One guy who probably didn't have very much patience at the start of this race was Derek Cope. Our Fast and All Fast start. Derek started 35th all the way up to 8th right now, so he is definitely making a fast start.
And here are these trucks on the outside. Mike Skinner, remember, he wanted to get up there to lead to get those 5 points. They've been consistently on the outside. Derek Cope glued right to his rear bumper, and they've not been able to gain any ground. They've got right now Mike Skinner's on the outside of Matt Crafton, and that's a battle for about the 5th position. They've not been able to advance any farther than up where Josh Wise was in 3rd.
Now the circumstances might change. Somebody getting the line behind them and able to eventually push them back up there. But one thing we know for sure is these laps wind down. Those guys sitting there 2nd, 3rd, Sprague, Weiss, Crawford, they're not just going to sit there and run second or third. They're going to want to flare out, and when they flare out, it's a whole new ballgame.
And we saw that last year on the backstretch. They were 6 wide going into turn number 3, and they didn't make it through 3.
Well, and you know, if you had told them you're 6 wide, they would have known they weren't going to make it. But evidently, they weren't aware of that.
2 and 3 wide through the tri-oval. Todd Bodine out in front of the field now. Sprague has led, Tim Sauter has led, and Joey Clanton has led at Talladega. Welcome back. Close calls continue around Talladega Superspeedway. I got to put some seat belts on you guys up here. You're moving around more than you probably do in your cars.
We've been out there. We know how crazy that is, Phil, and we also know how hard it hurt, how bad it hurts when you hit. Watch these guys.
While we're away commercial, watch this going down, and watch that in the middle of the screen right there. The 77 of Brendan Gaughan. He's going to juke over there and makes a little bit of contact with a 6. Now Mike Skinner doesn't know that they're 3 wide. He comes down on Brendan Gaughan. Brendan saves the trick. Now look at Kyle on the outside passing trucks. Never backed off.
The high line, 3 and 4 wide. Kyle Busch still digging. Again, that was just a lap ago. And now it's still Todd Bodine in front of Jack Sprague. And Ted Musgrave looks to the outside as he tries to make it 2 wide and go for the lead.
And you see the dynamic there, Phil? That lap truck changed things up just enough to where that outside group could finally get a run and get all the way up beside the leaders. Ted Musgrave has pulled alongside Todd Bodine.
That's all it took. They had to go around that 09 of Joey Clanton, who made a late pit stop.
Musgrave getting pushed now. Down the backstretch. Mike Wallace helping him in that 0-3.
By the way, that's a teammate. Oh, and by the way, that's also Todd Bodine's teammate.
Side by side, Germain Racing teammates looking to come out of turn number 4. Who will lead this lap?
And I bet you $100 Josh is thinking, I liked it better when it was just the 3 of us up here.
Single file. That was better. Yeah.
Through the tri-oval, Musgrave with the nose out in front as they cross the start-finish line. Oh, really close. It was Bodine still by 9 1/1000ths of a second.
It looked like Todd did a little side drafting off that 9 and checked his progress a little bit there and pulled back in front of him.
Preserve that lead by 9,000ths of a second. One more lap. Can he do it another lap? Bob, what's happening down there?
Well, if you look, guys, the 51 truck has faded way back out of that lead pack draft, and that's because Kyle just came over the radio and said, hey, if we keep this up, we're going to have the big one right now. As far as the overheating issue on that truck, it seems to have fixed itself. The temperature has come down to about 225 degrees, so they did not have to put that 2-inch hole in that nose of that truck. Adam?
Mike Skinner's been a yo-yo, currently riding 22nd, and they've been talking on the radio about the preferred groove. You see him making progress on the high line. His spotter reminded him moments ago, though, the high line was not the place to be in practice here on Thursday. We'll see if that changes as the afternoon continues here today.
Now, did you notice how much more aggressive they got that time when they got up there almost to the lead, started side drafting, running into one another? That's only going to get worse. That will intensify over the next 50 laps to a point where you won't believe it.
We see this a lot in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. It's not just here at the Superspeedway. We see a lot of side-by-side, door-to-door racing. It's week in and week out.
We have great racing here in the Craftsman Truck Series. We'll be beating and banging in a couple weeks in Martinsville, which is the antithesis of this racetrack.
That's what I was thinking. Except for I really don't know what that means.
Kind of the opposite a little bit. See that yellow line down there? You're not supposed to go down there.
Cannot improve your position below the yellow line.
That's the Cale Gale truck right there, the second truck out of Kevin Harvick's stable. Jason Leffler was in the 1 truck. First start for Red Horse Racing. We'll run all the remaining races in the Truck Series with the exception of Atlanta.
Now, NASCAR will be watching closely our footage here on Speed. You know, they want to see what we see, and they want to see every angle of this track that they can. So if somebody slips under that line and does improve their position, they'll turn to the cameras and see if that was indeed warranted a penalty. So not only are we providing here at Speed entertainment for the folks at home, we're also a tool that NASCAR will use in order to make decisions as the race goes forward.
It's almost our version of instant replay.
Exactly.
For our sport.
Again, they are nose to tail on the inside. Ted Musgrave has dropped all the way back to 7th now.
You know, and just a couple laps ago, he had gotten that group all the way up to 1st. We talked about them passing, lapping a truck. It gave them the ability to, to get up there. And then they got it all smoothed back out. And that bottom line proved again all things considered, it's the place to be.
It's the shortest way around the racetrack. And right now they're not getting that extra push on the outside to allow them to move up towards the front. You see right there, Ted Musgrave now is side by side with the 8 of Chad McCumbee.
You know, these guys might consider just, you see them, they're side drafting. They're tucked right in there on it. But if I'm out there running along and I can't make any progress by being down there crowding them on the inside, I might try to get these guys behind me in line to say, let's swing out by the wall, get away from them, run a longer way around the track, but don't use that side air and see what happens. It'd be worth a try. It's not working the way they're doing it. But as soon as you say, yeah, I'll do that, and you
somebody's going to go in the middle.
Then they'll go in the middle, and then you lost all your ground. But that's why I like the drivers right now. They're trying to find out what will work. What do we do? How do we make this top side better than the bottom?
One driver trying to figure it out is that 33 of Ron Hornaday. What's going on with him, Bob?
Well, right now he's trying to get to the top side because he wants to get some air to that nose of the truck. But Ron is also saying, hey, guys, this is absolutely crazy out here. We are going to wreck if we keep on running like this. He's in the middle of a championship battle, guys. Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip, are you nervous if you're inside that truck running here 2 and 3 wide when it's getting nutty out there?
It's really scary, Bob, when Ron Hornaday says it looks really crazy out there.
No kidding.
Because Ron Hornaday is a very, very aggressive driver. We've seen that year after year after year in this Craftsman Truck Series, the Busch Series. So when he says they're crazy out there, you know they are.
Again, that line on the inside, we haven't seen the outside line be able to successfully take over the lead. Ted Musgrave came oh so close, but he wasn't able to make the pass.
Again, right now we're just trying to log laps. If we're those first 5 or 6 trucks, it's working down on the bottom, they're happy. These other guys, they're wanting to see what they've got for later. They've got to move up high and see what they got. It could indeed benefit them.
Watch that 6 truck on the outside. Where did he come from?
Travis Quapple shot out of a cannon. Look at the 5.
Look at
Mike Skinner making the move, too.
Now, watch all that momentum just die out.
It's gone. It's gone.
You would have thought he was going to drive all the way to the front.
He was driving 10 miles an hour faster than them. All of a sudden, now he's running the same speed.
Take a look at this again.
Watch Travis now. They're going to get seized up the 1 of Jason Lucklow. Looks like he might have got out of the throttle. Travis just ducks down underneath the 5, goes up through the middle. Now he's going to jump to the outside.
But I mean, that's an easily 10-mile-an-hour difference in those trucks right there, and now they're back to even. That air is crazy what it does to these trucks.
Remember the 09 of Joey Clinton, which is the lap truck that allowed those guys to get side by side and that outside groove move on up. Well, he's right in the middle of this pack now. He's racing for that lucky dog. He will love to see a caution flag so he can get that Aaron's lucky dog and get back on the lead lap.
Well, he might be in a real good spot for one if he's wanting to see one.
We've had 2 cautions up to this point. The first one coming out on lap 7, the second one lap 17. It's been green flag racing since then. Todd Bodine continuing to lead at Talladega. Coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by the official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman. By Dodge. Live life to the fullest. Dodge. Grab life. And by Edge Products, the leader in performance electronics. Aerial coverage provided to you by Goodyear for track-tested technology. Get there on Goodyear Innovation.
I've always been happy to be on Goodyears. How about you, Mikey?
I love Goodyears.
Especially
you know what?
today.
All they do is what you ask them to. We need a harder tire because they're wearing out too fast. Okay, we'll do that. I mean, they do everything you're asked. Let's look at this 60 truck if we can. I think it's okay.
Down on the inside of the yellow line.
Stay over to that. Look at the hood on that 60. Looks like the back hinge is broken.
Broken too. That is not a pin. That is actually a welded bracket there. You can see it flopping like that. I don't think that would cause a problem because there are 4 positive fasteners in the front of that hood, and obviously the hinge on the other side, on the left side.
But that shows you what the air is doing out there with these trucks. I mean, it is absolutely beating those trucks to death. So hard. That's a welded boat, and the whole mount and everything's broken.
I always try to put it into terms that people can watch. I mean, feel when you're driving down an interstate, you follow a semi. There's a little bit of a buffeting. Is it like that?
It's a lot like that, especially if you're in a semi, and if the semi is going down the road and you're driving a Toyota Prius, and it goes by, it just kind of sucks you over into it. Yeah. Same thing.
Amazing draft taking place here at Talladega Superspeedway. Jacques Villeneuve right in the middle of that now on the 27. Again, we have 26 trucks that are on the lead lap.
We talked a few moments ago about Jacques Villeneuve and the other 2 trucks that he was running with. 99's on pit road, Adam.
Did not hear anything on the radio as to why they were coming in. This obviously would be an unscheduled stop. Last time they were on the pit lane, lap 17, only at 46. This well short of the pit window. They're going to put on 4 tires, make a chassis adjustment. Right side service is complete. Around to the left side. We will follow up on the situation for Eric Darnell. The only issue he's had all day long, running warm. He had cured that problem by dropping out of the draft. We'll find out exactly what the problem is. And now Matt Pusha calling to pull the tape off the grill. So it would appear an overheating problem for Eric Darnell, causing the unscheduled stop.
Yeah, Adam, he definitely pulled a lot of tape off the front grill of that number 99 Northern Tool and Equipment. Now he is leaving pit road, but he will be at least 1 lap down as he leaves pit road.
Now we'll start. He's having all kinds of trouble. Looked like he pulled more tape off than he wanted. He went back and put more on it. But changing 4 tires there, you'd have to think maybe if it wasn't for the heating issue, must have had a vibration or something. Something just didn't feel right to him.
Sun coming back out on the racing surface. Partly cloudy day today here in Talladega, Alabama, as they travel back into the shade. This is such a huge racing surface. There's actually places on the racetrack where it might rain in one corner, but it will be sunny in another one. Bob Dillner.
Just want to show you guys, we talked about the different pitch strategies and the tire wear situation down here. Well, we told you that Derek Cope didn't take any tires. Well, he just had to pit, and this is the reason why. Take a look at this. This is the right front tire off of his number 16 truck, and you can see the rubber just peeled off of there. In fact, it's right down to the cords right there. So Derek Cope had to come down pit road. Remember, he did not take tires. So the pitch strategy and whether or not to take tires could be playing out here in this next round of pit stops, guys.
Let me remind you, the leader nor did the 3rd place truck of Josh Weiss get tires either. So there's going to be some nervous crew chiefs. They'll run down there and look at that tire and say, oh no, what do I do now?
Yeah, they pitted back on lap number 16, so they can go about 40 laps.
Coming up on the start-finish line, Toyota, in celebrating 50 years of doing business in the United States, has come up with a special giveaway. Today they will award our lap 50 leader with $5,000. And right now, Todd Bodine looks like he may be the benefactor of that award if he can hold on to the top spot.
But that's Ted Musgrave up to the 3rd spot. That's the furthest those guys up on the outside have been able to get. Can he get a push enough to get there, to get that $5 grand from Toyota?
You see him side drafting right there on the 00. Josh Weiss right up against him. See Rick Crawford going to pull in behind the Aaron's Dream Machine to try to push him, keep him ahead of that 9.
Josh Weiss looks like he's moving around quite a bit on that racetrack, even though it's just a couple feet left to right.
Look at the gap you see there, because the 14 of Rick Crawford got exactly side by side with the 9 of Ted Musgrave, and that's allowed this little gap to form right here.
Todd Bodine is going to be able to hold on and stay in front of this pack. And so Todd Bodine will receive the $5,000 lap 50 leader award from Toyota.
Wonder if Ted will be as determined now to get back up there. He's like, darn it, I didn't get that $5 grand. I'm going to just relax here for a few laps.
No, I think he wants to get up there. He wants to pull that outside line up there, and you were exactly right about that 99. It was a right front tire issue on that 99 of Eric Darnell.
And then while they were on pit road, they knew they lost a lap. They just went ahead and straightened out the nose and got their temperature problems squared away. Phil, a little bit ago, we talked about Jacques Villeneuve and those guys losing the draft. When the leaders caught them, it got crazy. I told you when when something gets mixed up, those 3 guys were minding their own business. Check this out. Watch the way he gets buffeted around in this replay.
And remember now, they were running about 2 seconds slower than the leaders, and there he is wiggling around through the center there, tried to juke to the inside a little bit. Wasn't any room down there.
But you see, he didn't make a mistake. That's why I got to defend this cat, man. He knows what he's doing. He's going to learn. He's going to be careful.
He's a world champion.
He's
now he's going through the middle right there. Remember, now he's racing to get that Aaron's Lucky Dog. That 21 truck right to the right of our screen for a moment, that John Wood truck, he's also 1 lap down racing to get that Lucky Dog.
So everybody's on a different agenda, and sometimes when that happens, bad things happen.
Yeah. 2 and 3 wide, continuing around Talladega Superspeedway.
Look at that.
Travis Kwap on the outside of a 3-wide situation. That high line has not moved yet this afternoon. I bet you if people are at home or channel surfing and they get here and see this mess, they're going to think, what are those people doing? Race must be about over. No, we just passed the halfway point.
Or maybe it just started, because all these trucks are all bunched up together. Bob, what's going on pit road?
Well, right now, a couple of teammates are pitting right now. Kyle Busch and also the 15 of Balloon Motorsports, Shane Sieg, pitting together so they can draft together. Right now, Kyle likes his race truck. No changes, a fuel-only stop for the 51 bunch.
Man, it was hard for those guys to pull out of that mess to pit in order to get that gas that they need right now, because they know, they see any moment things could go bad wrong. And they're like, man, we're going to get a lap down and hate to leave this mess.
See, Kyle right now is just leaving pit road at about 55 miles an hour, and the pack now is just at the entrance to pit road. So more than likely that pack will catch Kyle very, very quickly.
And go right on by. He'll try to hang on. But what Kyle Busch has just done is he has put himself now in a position where he can go to the end of the race. He will not have to come back down on pit road. They can go anywhere from 40 to 45 laps on fuel, and so it looks like Kyle's going to be able to make it to the end.
But that won't help any if they lap him, because then he has to go and be the lucky dog and get in the back.
Changes the whole dynamic.
It just changes everything up, and those guys are really coming fast. I think they will lap that truck. Look, making a move on the outside. Is he, or just getting some air to that nose?
Sprague looking to the outside. Let's see if anyone goes with him. Jack Sprague is going to stay on the outside. He will try to take the lead away from Todd Bodine.
Josh Wise is going to stay down on the inside. Jack Sprague looks like he has.
Oh, he got
Tunnel right behind him.
It's Villeneuve.
Into the wall is Jacques Villeneuve.
That's a 71. Brian Silas coming down pit road. Looks like maybe TJ Bell is caught up against the outside wall with Jacques Villeneuve. Rockingham Speedway sponsor truck. Andy Hillenberg owns that truck. That is the Heathcliff Cat Litter Ford. TJ Bell, such a good qualifying effort for TJ.
You boys just mentioned the fact that if a caution comes out now and Kyle Busch is not still on the lead lap, it's definitely going to hurt him.
But he was.
He never got lapped.
And you know what he's going to do now? He's going to come out leading the race, because everybody else will pit, and he'll probably just stay out. But he didn't get tires. Will he come get tires still?
I don't know why he didn't get tires. They had to wait for the fuel. They probably could have put tires on it in the time it took him to wait for the fuel.
Well, I don't think so. His teammate did get tires, and now he's a lap down. Even though he sped off pit road, he still wound up being that far behind Kyle. So it kept him on the lead lap for sure. See if Jock understands what happened. I mean, he knows what happened, but I wonder if he knows what caused it. Looks like he has a reason to. Looks like he's hanging around.
Well, this is right at the entrance of pit road.
Or maybe they're just waiting for some traffic to clear.
They're gonna let the traffic go by before they walk back down onto the flatter surface here and to the ambulance. Let's take another look at why we have our third caution of the day.
Watch the 27. He's on the inside.
Did something break, Phil?
It looked like something broke. I don't think he moved up and got clipped in the right rear corner. I think something broke on that truck.
He did go hard right just as they were entering the tri-oval area.
Tore up Andy Hillenberg's Rockingham Speedway truck. Real quickly, Phil, that's the coolest thing ever.
It really is. Ooh, there's another view of it.
Did he move up and get clipped, or did something break?
Well, I'd have to take another look at it to see if.
Oh, no, something broke.
I think something broke, and that's why he moved up initially. Then he made contact with TJ. Brian Silas came along with absolutely nothing he could do about it.
Yeah, two trucks there, the 50 and the 71. Nowhere to go, just getting caught up in that accident.
Just like earlier with Mike Bliss when he cut down that right front tire, took out Jason White.
Now, TJ Bell is in a situation where he can't climb out of that truck.
Yeah, he's already jumped out of that truck and actually jumped across the deck lid of Jacques Villeneuve's truck.
He's kind of
ran
pinned
across the racetrack.
In between the wall and a truck here.
Or a rock in a hard place.
Take another look there. Yeah, I think something went wrong there. We saw the smoke, too, before he ever even got to the outside wall.
That rear view that we saw, there was smoke coming out from behind that truck, like a tire blew or something happened. Something broke on that truck. Right there.
It's really close.
You know, some of those trucks almost look like they may have been slowing, and he had some closure on those trucks. And you know, did he just swerve to the right, maybe to avoid that 77 truck of Brendan Gaughan that was right in front of him, and then maybe make contact with TJ in the right rear rear quarter panel?
And that would pull him dead to the right, which was what happened. It just looked like he had some problem before.
Dennis will have to negotiate through this.
It's really tough to call.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt because he's a world champion.
Absolutely. I'm all for that. Pit road will be closed right now because Brian Silas's truck is right at the entrance to the pit road, so it will be closed until they remove that truck.
This is good times for the guys up front, because these guys know that now they can pit under this caution and be ready to go to the end.
Clay Rogers bringing his number 75 Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet down on the apron. He will receive the Aaron's Lucky Dog and grab a lap back. Tomorrow, you're not ready for the green flag until you see NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Tune in as the Race Day crew gets you pumped up for Talladega Superspeedway. Don't miss NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Speed. Bob Dillner.
Johnny Benson running in the top 5 right now, but he says that truck is swerving all over the place. So here's the menu. He's going back down on the left rear and putting 2 rounds up on the track bar. It'll be a 2-tire stop for the 23 bunch. Adam?
Right side tires for Travis Quapple. They're also going to pull some more tape on the front grille. For Jack Sprague, no tires, fuel only, but you can see they've got out the bear bond. The reason why, they're going to tape over where that hinge broke earlier on the hood that you guys talked about. All 3 of the top front runners set to pull away.
I think this is going to be it. I think this may be the last pit stop for all these trucks on pit road.
And that's what you like as a guy that's got a truck up front. Your pit crew's got a chance just to do the job, get you back out front, and continue what you were doing before the caution came out. No risk of having to pit under green and getting caught for while caution flies. So this is perfect case scenario for a lot of those guys that were in the front.
Crew still sending their trucks back off of pit road. Crowd anticipating another great finish for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. This is the reason for our 3rd caution right here. Look at the 27, hard right turn. Jacques Villeneuve out of the race. TJ Bell also caught up in that with Brian Silas. Arborall is giving away $10,000 toward a dream garage in their search for the nation's best auto detailer. Attend the Arborall Do-It-Yourself Dare Contest Thursday in Harrisburg, North Carolina, and enter to win free Busch Series tickets. Go to AA-ownerscenter.com/RSVP for more information. Let's take one more look at this accident that took place.
Watch right in front of the 27. That's the 77 of Brendan Gaughan. And look at the 5. Look at the closure rate. We had some trucks that were getting ready to make green flag pit stops. I think Jacques came along there so quickly on that 77 that he just kind of moved to the right a little bit and actually made contact with the 71 of Brian Silas, and that turned him in to the 50 of TJ Bell. And I think that's what happened. I don't think anything broke on that truck. He saw those trucks almost stopping in front of him to make green flag pit stops.
I'm going to go with you on that, Phil. They were all pitting, and he just didn't realize it.
Hey, Craftsman's on the cutting edge of technology when it comes to tools. Today, we want to spotlight another important piece of equipment that Craftsman makes available to all of us in our Craftsman Tools of the Trade.
Today's Craftsman Tools of the Trade, we want to talk about Craftsman's Twin Cutter. Now, normally when sheet metal comes off of a truck, you've got to either use a reciprocating saw or a grinder to get it off. In the past, what has happened is there's kickback with those devices. Well, Craftsman has designed this Twin Cutter with 2 independent blades that run in opposite directions. And I'm going to show you how it works. David Starr, the driver of the International Max Force 4, is going to help us out here today. David, we hope we don't have to do this to your truck, but let's show him how handy this device is. Clean cut, no kickback. The Twin Cutter from Craftsman, available at your local Sears.
Check out this Craftsman Tools of the Trade. Another great programming on Speed on Demand. I apologize there. I kind of got caught up in the tool there that was being.
That was a nice job there. Nice job.
Adam Alexander, I believe you've caught up with Jacques.
Indeed, we have. Jacques Villeneuve has come from the Infield Care Center. The good news is you're okay. What happened on the racetrack, Jacques?
Well, the trucks in front of me lifted their hands through the corner and slowed down at the same time to come in the pit. So I slowed down and tried to avoid them and got collected, got clipped behind.
Tough break for Jacques Villeneuve. What was the learning like while you were out there and racing in the draft?
Well, not to get behind the wrong truck because then once you lost the pack, that's it. You're done.
Prepared for tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully there won't be any green pit stops tomorrow.
Jacques Villeneuve experiencing the draft for the first time. Unfortunately, his day ends in the garage, Bob.
Tough break for Josh Wise as well. He was planning to come down pit road when that entire incident began, so he got shuffled back a little bit. Then they made their pit stop, and they left some lugs loose on the right front tire. They got a NASCAR penalty, had to come back down pit road, did that. But then they had a vibration on the right rear, had to come down pit road once again, and now Josh Wise is way back in the pack, guys.
That's good for Josh White. I mean, it'd been better for him to be third, obviously, but he needs his experience. He hasn't done this before, Phil, so now he's going to have to figure out how to get from the back to the front, and this will help him as he advances in his career.
And it looks like it's been fairly easy to get from the back towards the front, but it hasn't been that easy to get to the very front because it's been very difficult to pass those trucks on the inside line.
If you've been able to stay on the inside line so far, you have not had to relinquish the lead. Todd Bodine has been able to stay up there. Jack Sprague has done it. This time as they come out of the tri-oval and the green flag flies, it's Travis Kvapil that's leading at Talladega Superspeedway.
We're also going to have a race within the race to see who can get in position to possibly get that lucky dog. The 07 of Tim Sauter is leading that group on the inside line. That group includes John Wood and Derek Cope and Eric Darnell and Shane Sieg.
And Derek Cope's proven he can keep that truck up at the front, so he's going to be anxious to try to get that position.
Now Travis Kvapil finally has the lead. Now he wants to stay right against that yellow line. Look at the side-by-side racing back there. That's allowed a gap to develop between those first 4 or 5 trucks and Ron Hornaday.
2 and 3 wide. They're starting to go 4 wide now as they work their way out of turn number 4 and back into the tri-oval.
You know, we're 60 laps into this 94-lap race. Now is the time that the patients are getting a little bit thinner than they were maybe 20, 30 laps ago.
People can see the end, so to say. 30 laps, 32 laps remaining in this race. And normally when you hear 30 or 32 laps remaining in the race, you get up on the wheel and you think, all right, here we go. Let's get into position. Let's go for the win here.
Pass for the lead. Jack Sprague jumps to the outside. He makes that outside pass work with a little help from Johnny Benson.
The first time it has happened today, Jack Sprague takes over to the top spot with an outside pass, and we saw John Wood in the 21 make the move up into third.
Again, he's a lap down. He's trying to be in position to get that Aaron's lucky dog. Right now that Jack Sprague is out front, he has been a strong truck. We saw him able to pass Todd Bodine on the outside. Now he's been able to pass the 6 of Travis Kvapil on the outside.
He is running very well with these front runners. We see Travis Kvapil making the move out as we saw some contact on the wall back behind the pack.
Look at that flat tire. Is that the 07?
I thought it might have been Tim Sauter. He is not just now making his way onto pit road. See the 51 of Kyle Busch on the very, very outside. Looks like he's trying to drift his way towards the back of this pack.
Again, it could be an overheating issue with Kyle Busch. He continues to try to get air on the front of that truck.
This has been unlike Kyle Busch today. He hadn't really made any ground on anybody. Derek Cope started back there behind him and got his stuff all the way up to the front.
Todd Bodine gets by that 6 truck on the inside. Here comes Derek Cope and Ron Hornaday on the outside with a run.
3 wide. Ron Hornaday trying to stay in behind the 16, but the inside line now makes the move. Travis Kvapil, Mike Skinner moving on the inside.
That would be the middle.
That
would be the middle, yeah.
But if there's 4 wide, there's really not a middle.
That's the inside middle. That's the inside middle.
This is a mess.
It's like the left center fielder in softball.
Now we see teammates Ron Hornaday, Cale Gill, nose to tail. Let's see if they're able to move up. And Kyle Busch towards the back of the pack.
A couple Toyotas up front right now with Jack Sprague and Johnny Benson.
Hornaday's also slipping back toward the back of that pack.
See some bump drafting going on. Terry Cook looks like he got in the back of the 5 of Mike Skinner. Ever so slightly.
They're starting to bump draft harder and harder, Phil. And these bumpers don't match up like we said earlier. And that is not going to be good. Somebody's going to get a little over aggressive, and it's going to turn a guy around right in the middle of this mess. And wow, it is a mess. Look at that.
They're 3 wide and not even using the outside 2 lanes coming off the corner.
Chad McCumbee just came off of pit road. He actually came off pit road a little too fast, and so he will have to do a pass-through penalty. NASCAR is letting us know.
Yeah, tough break for Chad McCumbee. He had a good run going. He may not be out of it either.
Joey Clanton on the inside. Dennis Setzer running this middle line. Right now it's the high line, but normally the middle line that they would be running. You would see trucks on the outside of them as they have gone 3 wide. This down the backstretch, looking right at the front end of these trucks. Field all bunched back together here at Talladega Superspeedway. Out in front of it, it is Jack Sprague and Johnny Benson, 1 and 2, coming through the tri-oval to the start-finish line. Welcome back to the Mountain Dew 250 from Talladega Superspeedway. Our 4th caution of the day has come out. It's for debris. And that debris actually a side window.
Just take a look. There's what's left of it. Actually, the trucks came through there and ran over it. Watch at the very back of this pack. That's Cale Gale, that blue truck at the very back. This side window, which NASCAR requires here on these trucks at Daytona and Talladega, blows off there. That caused a caution flag, and now Cale Gale will have to come to pit road and have to replace that. He will not be able to stay on the racetrack without that side window. And he's not going to put that one in there.
No, he needs another one. And sometimes it's interesting to see who's prepared for what. You know, he's lost his side window. Will they have another one ready and waiting on him? Look at those trucks. They look so
similar?
Similar. So undissimilar.
Undissimilar.
I believe Phil used a word earlier that confused you.
Watch what is this that happens to the 60?
He started smoking from the right front. It looked like a possible slight tire rub. He stayed on the racetrack and actually kept the lead.
You might wonder if that. You might wonder if that's.
We wonder if he's going to come down pit road. We know that his team is aware of that. Watch this now. You see the smoke from the right front there.
Could that be a brake caliper giving up?
Well, I don't know why it would be.
Now, as a driver behind him, are you looking at that going, okay, I don't want to be anywhere near him?
Look at Johnny. He jumps to the outside. He sees that smoke, and he did not want to be behind him. Adam, what's going on with that 60 truck?
Jack Sprague thinks it may have been a wheel weight. They really have had a lot of discussion about whether they should come down pit road or not, but the option right now is to stay on the racetrack. And you guys talked about Johnny Benson. Benson said he did see something fly out of the 60 truck. That's why he pulled to the outside to avoid the debris. But right now, the plan for Jack Sprague to stay on the racetrack, and why not? He's in the lead.
Sprague still leading Todd Bodine. We see John Wood on pit road. He was our Aaron's Lucky Dog recipient, so back on the lead lap for the number 21 Ford.
Yeah, by the way, that wheel weight would not cause that tire to smoke.
Whether you're going to the race or watching from home, get the most from your NASCAR weekend on SpeedTV.com. Get the inside scoop and the breaking news as soon as it happens. Log on to SpeedTV.com. Keyword, My Race Day. Bob Dillner.
A lot of guys talking about where they should be on the racetrack when we get going again here right now. And everybody seems to think the low line is the way to go. Here's Johnny Benson's radio communication with his spotter and crew chief, Trip Bruce.
All right, Rocky, if we're setting fourth, what I saw, from what little bit I could see, the top four guys were never challenged on the outside, so we're probably just better off staying in line on the bottom, correct?
Exactly. That's exactly right. And when you said you weren't sure which line was better at the time, both the times you got locked on the bottom and stayed there, it ended up being a much better place to be.
Johnny Benson running fifth right now, but honestly, I spoke to Trip Bruce this morning, and they really didn't expect to be up there, up front where they are right now, because this is a very big downforce truck. It was built for Daytona, and they didn't think they needed as much downforce here, but it's playing into their hands here late into this race, guys.
Yeah, I think downforce can be a friend here, especially when you get a lot of laps on your tires late in the run.
And you saw the way that wind's blowing these things around to help you can get to stay stuck to the road.
Take a look at this. As they run now, Skinner with a 48-point lead over Ron Hornaday. Coming into the race, it was just 3 points that separated the two.
It says in the Bible somewhere that he who is first will be last and he who is last will be first. That's all going to happen between now and the end of the race. So that piece of graphic there is not relevant to what's going to happen, because it's going to get crazy. These guys are going to start making that outside line work. You watch.
Absolutely. We've got about, 25 laps to go here.
And we're reciting biblical scripture from the booth. The green flag back out as Jack Sprague leading Todd Bodine, Rick Crawford, Mike Skinner, and Johnny Benson.
Look, all these trucks want to get to the bottom. Todd Bodine actually is going to stay to the outside, maybe battle that 60 truck for the lead. Now Rick Crawford's going to come with him on the outside. Then going outside, 3 wide.
Here goes Rick Crawford to the high side. He tries to take the lead away from Jack Sprague and Todd Bodine. Can he make the pass? He's got help on that outside line.
Rick Crawford knows how to do it. He won in Daytona back in 2003, and he's got the lead.
Crawford and his Ford out in front of another Ford, Eric Darnell, right behind him as they work together. Eric Darnell a lap down, though.
He wants to be up there in position like John Wood was to get that Aaron's Lucky Dog. He wants to stay up there. Look, Jack Sprague looks to the outside.
Sprague looking to the outside, has no help, though. Nobody out there to give him a shove as he is looking for some help, and Johnny Benson kicks out of line, and he will try to come to the back bumper. Those two worked together at Daytona earlier this year.
Yeah, they finished 1-2. Remember, Johnny was the guy talking about staying right on the bottom of the racetrack, and now he's on the outside. Adam.
And you look at the leader, it's an Alabama boy, Rick Crawford's Mobile native, and we talked to him this morning about racing at Talladega. We said, was this your inspiration growing up as a kid to become a racer? And he said, not really. It was beyond my wildest expectations to race at a place like Talladega or Daytona. But he's got that win at Daytona and looking to add Talladega to his racing resume as well.
He's got to look to his right now, though, because the freight train is coming once again, and Toyota Tundras are making the move. That smoke rolling out of the right front. Jack Sprague has been able to make the pass. Johnny Benson follows him there, 1 and 2.
That truck's still smoking out of the right front.
I think it might be some sort of oil leak. Maybe a oil line has come a little bit loose and it's coming out that right front fender.
You have to believe that all the drivers behind them, you see, look how tight they are, 3 wide. Derek Oak's going to be buffeted out to the outside. Ty Bodine's on the outside of the 5 of Mike Skinner. Now he's got a little bit of room, and here comes Kyle Busch.
How about Kyle Busch right on the back bumper of Todd Bodine as they go down the backstretch?
Look how much racetrack is over there to their outside. They're not even using.
They don't need that. They're only 2 wide now. They'll go 3 and 4 wide when they need that track. Adam.
And we're talking a lot about Jack Sprague and that right front fender. And under caution moments ago, Todd Bodine was riding behind Sprague, and he said it looked like he had a front fender brace that was bent, perhaps causing a tire rub. He was planning where he would go should the tire go for Jack Sprague. So perhaps that's the issue for Jack. Jack has been quiet on the radio since we went back green. We'll continue to monitor the situation here.
Michael, we know where he's going to go if that tire goes.
Yes,
more than likely, if it's going to blow in the corner. He's going dead right.
And if you're over there to the right of him, you're really going to know where he's going.
Now, one of the things, under caution and when they were running slower, there was no smoke. So when this thing settles down, it looks like it is getting some sort of rub. So maybe it's a tire brace or a fender brace that is rubbing on the tire.
I don't see it lasting all the way to the finish. It goes up the hill a little bit there. That couldn't be planned, was it, Phil?
It didn't look like it. I would think he would want to stay right on that yellow line. Johnny went up there with him, and it's going to allow Mike Skinner to get a little momentum.
He's coming to the pit.
Oh, problems for Jack Sprague. He's going to slide in front of the field. Right into the tri-oval they go. Jack Sprague slides into the infield and catches about 3 or 4 trucks. One of those being the
Ron Hornaday got caught. There's Eric Darnell, made hard contact with the inside wall.
The 6 of Travis Quapple's got big damage.
There's the 6 of Travis Quapple. A lot of good trucks involved here. Ron Hornaday definitely got a piece of that with a right rear corner.
I think that was I think that right front tire must have went down. He felt it going into turn 3 and just was trying to get to the pits and couldn't quite get there.
Look at all the damage to that Conway Toyota. And there's Ron Hornaday. The right rear, you see the rear fascia flapping a little bit. He got a lot of damage to that right rear corner.
20 laps of racing still to go in this one. And somewhat the big one here is Jack Sprague got turned around and went right back into the field. We see Ted Musgrave with an unbelievable amount of damage to the front end of that truck.
Yeah, several trucks still on the racetrack also have some damage. It looked like David Starr with that 10 truck had some damage. There's Eric Darnell. You can see him moving around in the truck. That's a good sign. He made some pretty hard contact with the inside wall coming off turn number 4.
Darnell was running right up front there. There's Terry Cook.
I think that's the truck
to the front.
That's the truck that made contact with Ron Hornaday.
Guess who missed out on all of this fun that took place? Mike Skinner, clean as a whistle.
We knew that this place could affect the point lead severely, and 2 of the guys that were right behind Skinner are now eliminated, and I think that eliminates officially this cat from the championship chase.
Yeah, Travis Quapple out now. We saw Terry Cook.
Yeah, we saw Terry Cook walking around. Mike Bliss was examined at the infield care center from that first accident and released.
That's Terry Cook.
Yeah, we need
distraught. What a run he was having.
Yeah, we need to get a good look at that 33 truck of Ron Hornaday.
See Jack Sprague now climbing out of his Conway Freight 60 Toyota Tundra. Safety crews immediately dealing with the vehicles on the track, and we look at the 33 of Ron Hornaday. Again, the damage is in the right rear of this truck, and that's what they're going to work on.
And that ain't bad. That won't hurt him in getting back up to the front. And remember what happened a year ago? Todd Bodine was running 27th with 3 to go.
Got black flag, and that's why we're so far back for passing under the yellow line. Ends up finishing 4th, but very minimal damage to Ron Hornaday. He really got lucky.
There might be more twists and turns in this championship battle. I think we can officially rule out Quapple, but this cat right here has still got a chance to leave here with the lead in the points.
Travis, excuse me. Let's go down to Bob.
Travis.
Travis
and Kevin Harvick looking at his number 33 truck of Ron Hornaday right now. They are working in that right rear quarter panel, trying to pull that metal out from the tire so that they don't have any tire rub, and they're taping that sheet metal there back together. But you know, a lot of concern on this team because, of course, the championship is on the line right now. And, of course, a wild ride for Ron Hornaday. He just took an air hose and sprayed himself from all the dust inside the cockpit. But right now, the team taking their time. They're not going to change any tires this time around. Just repair that right rear quarter panel on that number 33 truck.
And how long is that going to stay? I mean, it's more or less tape that when he's going 190, 195 miles an hour, it's going to be hard to keep that on.
It was 200-mile-an-hour tape, so it should be okay. See, Jack Sprague, he knows that something's wrong
Watch right there. See the fire come out of exhaust? He let off right there, and Johnny just didn't know what was happening.
Look at Darnell going across and hitting the inside wall.
Yeah, and Jack turns right back in the middle of the pack there.
And then Hornaday just almost threw it.
Barely got clipped.
It was all the way down in the grass. Terry Cook, a lot of damage to that Harris Trucking. Toyota comes down and makes contact. You see the flames out of the exhaust pipes right there. Now it turns Jack right in front of the field.
What a helpless feeling for Jack Sprague. But fortunately, he got banged around, but nothing ever hit him real solid. So he was able to walk away from that mess.
Jack Sprague starting on the outside of the front row. Let's ride along with Rick Crawford. He's 2 back from Jack.
You see how little Rick got out of the throttle. He made that initial contact with Johnny. Here's Dennis Setzer's on board. There's Travis Quapple right in front of him. That's not going to be a good ride for Travis. Oh, nice choice. Nice choice by Dennis Setzer to turn hard left.
Watch the fire come out of the exhaust. See, you can't even see that. He has no idea what's fixing to happen.
I didn't see any wave, did you?
There it was.
There's the fire. That's just backing off the throttle. You're going to see that.
Let's go down trackside. Jack Sprague's with Adam Alexander.
Yeah, the good news is he's okay, man. If this isn't your season in a nutshell, I don't know what is. Tell us what happened, Jack.
Well, about 15 laps prior to that, I heard something slam the bottom of the truck, and I picked up a vibration instantly, but I thought, well, I just lost a wheel weight. And maybe I did. But right there, everything was fine. I got in the middle of 3 and 4, and the chassis got on the ground real hard. You know, one of the front tires went down. So I kind of went up in the middle of the racetrack, pulled it back down, and he was yelling I got a flat, and I was trying to get in. And the guys behind me had nowhere to go. I hate it for all them guys. I mean, I didn't have enough hands to wave them off because I was trying to save the thing, and just got run over from behind trying to get in the pits.
It's been a challenging situation all year long for Jack Sprague, and the frustrations continue here today.
Yeah, here's a replay from Johnny Benson's on, but remember, we heard Jack watching the back window here, but Jack just told us he didn't have time. He was trying to save that truck. He didn't have time to wave Johnny off. Right there is when he gets out of the throttle, trying to get pit road. Johnny makes the contact and turns Jack around, but he didn't even have time to wave.
And you know he was in a position to win this race. That little bit of wisp of smoke out of the right front fender, that wasn't enough to bring that team to pit road to say we might lose a tire. You would have thought it would be just fine, but we saw for 10 or 15 laps, and that tire just wouldn't take that rub.
But it was enough to knock him out of the race.
5th caution of the day has come out, and it is because of this accident that took place as they came out of turn number 4. Sprague was going to move to the inside, try to get on pit road. Had a little help getting turned around, and then melee behind him. We'll be back. Green flag will come right back out from Talladega. Welcome back. Still under caution here at Talladega Superspeedway. It was the 5th caution of the day coming out on lap 74 of a 94-lap race. This 2.66 mile Superspeedway. Letting him know one more time around. We'll go back to green flag racing. Another truck that was caught up in the accident, Ted Musgrave. He is with Adam Alexander.
And disappointing, obviously, for Ted Musgrave. Guys had a solid run going. What'd you see, Ted?
You know how it is. It gets towards the end of the race, and you got the guys that are running anywhere from 10th to 15th to 20th. You got to make some desperate moves, just bumping. The thing is, if everybody's on the very bottom, you can't pass, make a show out. So everybody tries to make a second groove, and I was trying to do that. It's just there's so much grip.
you got to be on the bottom and then stay in line. And I like better racing. I like 3 wide. So we were in the middle and got wrecked because just people bumping into each other. That's all.
That's Ted Musgrave in the garage to Bob Dillner.
Travis Kvapil came into this race with dreams of a championship, but his worst nightmare happened. What happened out there, Travis?
I don't know. We were just, I tried to get to the front all day long. I got there at one point and didn't have any help to get to the front, so I was just content to just ride on the bottom groove because you don't know what's going to happen in the last 2 laps. And I know that 60 had a tire up for a long time, and I don't know if it was him, but it looked like to me somebody was trying to get to pit road and they just stacked up. And I don't know, you should be able to get to pit road here pretty easy, driving it all the way around turn 4, especially in these trucks. They got enough drag to, you can get down out of the way. But it looked like maybe he just, got run over, basically, or didn't get out of the way or whatever and just stacked everybody up.
Frustration builds for Travis Kvapil. His hopes of a championship possibly gone, guys.
Again, Travis Kvapil caught up in this incident. Jack Sprague leading the race.
Had a tire going down, tried to get to pit road. Unfortunately, was not able to motion to Johnny Benson. Not that it would have been enough time for Johnny to avoid him because they were stacked up so deep right behind him, but unfortunately caused this giant melee coming into the tri-oval.
But that behind us, we got about 15 laps to go, and it's going to be crazy. Did I tell you it's going to be crazy before the last restart?
I think you made a comment earlier about it potentially could be crazy.
There are still enough trucks for it to get that way yet. And I think Hornaday will be back.
Did anyone ever count out Kyle Busch? Because right now Kyle Busch is running third. Green flag back out to Mountain Dew 250 back underway. Mike Skinner looking for those 5 bonus points, got them as he went by the start-finish line after that accident took place.
There's Rick Crawford right there. He's following that 75 to, Rick's going to lose a spot or two. There's Mike Wallace's 03. There's a 47 of Regan Smith. You see that Spears Chevrolet up there? That is Regan Smith. That's a backup truck. He qualified 12 miles an hour slower than our pole sitter, Top O'Dine, and he's racing up in the top 10.
He's got her warmed up now, though. She's going to town. But they're going to run out of room.
Dennis, I don't think there's any room right there, Dennis. Thank you. Thank you for backing off.
Glad that was...
trouble, problems. We got problems on the racetrack. It looks like the 00. Yes, it's Josh Wise in that 00, the Aaron's Dream Machine.
Yeah, the 40 of Jack Chaffin was on the bottom.
Those guys were just bumping each other. They were in a bad spot. Everybody that was back there was bump drafting so hard that it had to go bad.
Chad Chaffin also involved here at number 40.
Chad makes his way to pit road here. 14 laps to go. A lot of damage to the Aaron's Dream Machine. Let's see if we can take a look back at what caused this. This was going in turn number 3.
Again, behind the pack.
4 wide, 5 wide, 5 wide.
You know, we heard Dennis Setzer let off because he didn't want to go in that hole. Josh was committed to the outside of Dennis, and Dennis moved up, and they crashed.
4 wide.
It was 5 wide.
It doesn't seem to work here at Talladega.
Look, it was 5 wide, and obviously there wasn't enough room for 5 wide, and unfortunately Josh is going to pay the price there along with Chad Chaffin.
But sometimes it works, and that's why they keep trying it.
Bob Dillner.
Difficult break for Josh Wise. Was having such a good run, then the problems on pit road, and then they had been suffering from a vibration in the right rear, guys. But basically he came on the radio there and just said, hey, we ran out of room.
That is a great observation.
Yeah, that's an understatement. But again, hey, we're 14 laps to go in this race, and people are battling for position all over the racetrack. The guy running 15th wants to be 14th or 13th. The guys up front want to gain positions.
Now, Michael, with these 2 trucks, a little bit hobbled, are there still enough trucks for it to get crazy?
Yes. You have to believe me on this one. There's also still enough time for Ron Hornaday to drive back to the front and change the complexity of this crazy points battle.
2007 points championship on the line. Ron Hornaday moves towards the front. Josh Wise has problems on Talladega Superspeedway. We'll be back for more racing after this. There's still plenty of tickets left for the Subway 500 at Martinsville Speedway on October 21st. Log on to racetickets.com to get yours now. Make sure to tune in the day before. Obviously, we have qualifying for the trucks.
Yeah, absolutely. And a big truck race at Martinsville.
Every race more important as we close in on the final few races of the 2007 season. Coming into this race, it was just 3 points that separated Mike Skinner and Ron Hornaday. Hornaday has had some issues he's had to deal with today, but still definitely in contention as he runs 10th in this field. Mike Skinner out in front of the field.
We talk about beating and banging at Martinsville. Well, I didn't realize we were going to beat and bang at Talladega, but you see all the damage to a lot of these.
You had to expect we would.
Maybe just a hint of a suspicion that we might.
I think Skinner was real fortunate in that. I mean, he just had committed to the outside, and I'll be darned if the guys on the bottom didn't have a crash and he got the lead out of it. That's how you win a championship every now and then, when things just sort of fall your way.
It's about time to find out who your friends are in drafting. Mike Skinner, Todd Bodine, Kyle Busch, Clay Rogers, and Mike Wallace are your top 5 as they restart here at Talladega Superspeedway.
Remember that 0-3 of Mike Wallace, who just jumps down to the inside right in front of the 14 of Rick Crawford. That is a teammate to that 30 truck of Todd Bodine, but it looks like that Todd Bodine and Mike Skinner are teammates right now.
Well, we've seen Mike Skinner and Todd Bodine fight for a race win and actually take each other out of the race. Adam.
And during the long caution period, Todd Bodine and Mike Wallace had words about working together. Mike Wallace saying, I want to work with a 30 and help him, but he's got to do a little bit better job working with me than he did earlier. And right now, Bodine needing not much help as he pulls to the outside lane. He's the new leader. To Bob Dillner.
Well, Kyle Busch just got shuffled back there. He lined up 4th on that restart, but look out for him, guys. He said, guys, we're just waiting. I'm going to draft up and take a look at the run that he's got there on the outside, just like he has all day long. Kyle Busch very strong. He said he was going to wait for the end of the race. Now here he comes.
Apparently this is the end of the race, boys, because they are all jockeying for position as they go down the backstretch. 3 wide once again, battling for the lead.
This is going to be synchronized driving, but they've got to make it 25 miles from here, Phil, and I don't know if you can drive this way for 25 miles.
We saw it last year. They're already making contact. The 14 of Rick Crawford gets real wiggly in the middle.
Almost sideways is Crawford as he works his way through 3 and 4. Again, 2 and 3 wide as they come out of turn number 4 and head to the tri-oval.
Look, just about everybody on the racetrack is right there in that pack.
And just about everyone in the grandstands is on their feet watching the trucks make their way around this 2.66-mile super speedway.
Kyle Busch is trying to get a run on the outside. Look at him, 3 wide right there. There's the 75 truck right there. Clay Rogers. There's Matt Craftsman on the inside, the 88.
Not a lot of real estate here as all of the trucks are fighting for position. It's Todd Bodine, Mike Wallace, Rick Crawford, Ron Hornaday, and Mike Skinner were your top 5 the last time they went by the start-finish line.
Well, right now, Mike Skinner's 2-3 spots ahead of Ron Hornaday, and it was just the opposite a minute ago.
Adam Alexander.
The word for Mike Skinner, stay on the inside. They've been telling him on the radio they're backing up on the outside lane. You need to be patient and stay where you are. Skinner currently riding 4th in line as Todd Bodine leads the field.
Adam, the message for the 33 from his team, go for it. Kevin Harvick has been on the radio and watching his truck go around this race. And whoa, he just gets a big push from behind there. But they told Ron Hornaday, go for it because we got nothing to lose.
Just a championship. I mean, it came in only 3 points back for that championship. Obviously, they want to win that championship, but they do want to gain on Mike Skinner here in this race. And I'll tell you right now, Hornaday is all over the place right now. It looks like people keep bumping into the back of him, and it just makes him very loose.
It's incredible how much bumping is going on. Remember Chad Chaffin? He was involved in that accident just a few moments ago, and there he is right in the middle of this thing.
9 laps of racing when we cross the start-finish line. Going through the tri-oval, it will be 8 laps of racing to go from Talladega.
We've got a lap truck of Joey Clanton, the 09, in between our 1st and 2nd place trucks. Todd Bodine leads. Rick Crawford, the 14, is actually running 2nd behind that lap truck, the 09.
Anyone that decides to move to the outside line will have to have help. Right now, Mike Wallace is leading the 2nd pack on the outside line, but he is way back, almost 8 or 9 trucks back from this lead line on the inside.
I'm going to predict that you're not going to be able to hug that yellow line and win this race. I think the guy hugging the yellow line will get passed on the outside by a group of trucks. They're going to fan out in a little bit, and you know, sometimes you got to mix it up. If you just lay on that yellow line, it's pretty predictable. I just don't see it working today.
NASCAR is looking at the hood pin on the 5. Sure enough, the hood pin is out on the right front of that Toyota Tundra. That could be very detrimental to that team's championship hopes.
He's got 3 still in there, but if that thing vibrates so much and maybe breaks the hood pin that's next to that one, that hood could come up.
NASCAR will look as far as a safety issue if they would have to black flag Mike Skinner, and how difficult is that call going to be? Our point leader coming into this race.
Yeah, I don't envy Wayne Naughton and his guys for having to make that call, but you see that hood really doing some serious vibrating. Meanwhile, there's Dennis Setzer on the back bumper of Mike Wallace in that 03 Toyota.
What about Setzer? He gets him a new ride. He just wants to go. got a 7th place finish out in Vegas, and here he is racing the top 10 at Talladega.
Ron Hornaday right on the bottom of the racetrack. He's back about the 8th, 9th position. It changes every lap, so every 3 seconds. There he is on left of our screen right there.
Through the tri-oval, the second line now beginning to move.
And there's Willie Allen on the inside, the 13 truck. Dennis Setzer pulls up right behind. Ooh, Johnny Benson ducks to the outside to try to make a move.
Benson made that move, and he caught a couple trucks with him that were going to go and see if that second line would move, but it's Todd Bodine still out in front of Crawford, Skinner, Crafton, and Jason Leffler.
And we talk about experience. 14 of the 19. Oh, look at that.
About to come off,
boy.
folks. They're going to black flag Mike Skinner. NASCAR has got to black flag him.
Remember earlier I said how crazy, how violent the wind is, blowing windows out, blowing hoods off, and that's what's happened right here. The wind has just ripped that hood loose on that Toyota Tundra.
Yeah, look at this. It looks like paper.
Absolutely demoralizing this is for Mike Skinner. He's been black flagged. He has to come down onto pit road. If they
they're getting together.
Got problems behind him. Mike Wallace gets turned around in the 03.
He may save that truck.
Oh, great.
He's going to keep it on the wall. Caution is out, though.
What a huge break for Mike Skinner. He can get to pit road and tape that thing down. Rick, you asked earlier, how will that tape hold up on the Hornaday truck? It hasn't budged. It's called bear bond, and these teams practice. They get it down to where it won't fly off. He can come in, get that hood pushed back down, tape it up, and still, this thing's looked so crazy out of control a couple of times. Listen to this. A minute ago, Hornaday slid through the infield. He's out of it. Now Skinner's going to the pit road. He's out of it. But no one's out of it yet. What's going on, Adam? What are they going to do? They got a plan?
Yeah, well, they were already actually planning to come to pit road if, in fact, NASCAR did black flag him. Once the call came out, they put the plan in place. They had the bear bond already and set to go. And then once the caution came out, it was almost like they were celebrating having won the race, knowing they could do it under caution instead of under green. And Jeff Hensley just put everybody where they needed to be to execute the plan. A big break for the guy who's the championship point leader coming in. We'll see how the service goes in the pit lane.
Also hearing there's problems with Matt Crafton in that 88. You see the damage to the right rear and the right side of that truck.
Yeah, that may be related to the 03 spin of Mike Wallace.
Take another look at what happened with Mike Wallace here. Again, coming through the tri-oval.
They all got in a bind.
See, Mike, the 88 and the 13 teammates got together, and they made contact with the 03 of Mike Wallace. Mike did a nice job keeping that truck out of the wall.
That's a chain reaction.
Now, Mike Wallace will be able to come onto pit road, change 4 tires, and get right back out there, and he'll be in the hunt for this thing once again.
Watch right here now. What?
It appears we're going to have a green-white checkered, and we know that that's enough to go from, 27th to 4th?
Yep.
So
top of nine.
Don't think anybody's out of this deal.
Good view right there out of Rick Crawford's on board. You see the 03 of Mike Wallace spin down to the apron of the racetrack.
I'll tell you today, though, the furthest anyone is going to be able to go from back to front is going to be 18th. Because there's only 18 trucks on the lead lap. And right now, scored 18th is Mike Wallace.
Then you only need a lap and a half to accomplish that.
You don't have to go as far.
No.
We see Mike Wallace coming in. He's going to get 4 fresh tires. Again, he slid across the racetrack sideways, flat spotted the tires. They're going to check out the left rear because that's where he had contact made. Make sure he's okay and send him back out on the track.
Yeah, you would think that maybe new tires may be an advantage. It's not really going to be much of an advantage here because these tires have so much grip. This racetrack's such a great paving job that it's really not going to be an advantage. But he has a fast truck, and we know they're going to get 3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide, maybe even more down the backstretch.
So we've seen 7 wide.
There can be a lot of positions change hands here in these last 2 laps.
Right now, the person who would like no positions to change would be Todd Bodine. Todd Bodine is currently leading Rick Crawford. Mike Skinner was scored as 3rd, but he will have to come onto pit road. Travis Quapple back on the racetrack, and he's going to have to maintain. Well, it really won't matter.
He's going to ride around on this caution.
Yep.
He'll ride around on the green-white checker, and he'll actually get a couple more laps. And he won't be able to run long enough, really, to get black flag for running too slow. But here comes Mike Skinner, Adam, coming down pit road, coming to you.
Yeah, and the original plan was bare bond only, and Jeff Hensley, the crew chief, just told him to get out some pins to snap over the hood. So they are going to go to work on this machine. Tough break in a way, but if they had to do this under green, the time they would have lost would have really, really killed them. Doing it under caution going to be a huge advantage, and then they'll have an opportunity to make up some spots once they go back out onto the racetrack.
There's going to be one to go at him right now, so they have to get that work done. They don't have quite as much time as they would have.
And it's really important they get it done right so that he can make 2 laps, because he can charge from the back to the front if the thing doesn't blow back up on him.
Let's take a look one more time at what has taken place here at Talladega Superspeedway. Lap 7. It was early on a 2-truck incident. 4 of Mike Bliss and the 7 of Jason White getting caught up. Another look at that accident. A hard hit there as Bliss cut a tire and moved hard to the right.
And if you're at home, it hurts as bad as it looks like it would.
There's lap 54. Jacques Villeneuve tried to avoid some cars, trucks that were coming down pit road, swerved to the right, made some contact with Brian Silas, and collected TJ Bell into the outside wall.
In lap 73, up front, Jack Sprague leading the race, was slowing to come onto pit road. He had an issue, got hit from the back, and that started the melee behind him. And most recently, lap 81.
Double zero. Josh Wise gets involved. They were 5 wide over there in turn number 3. They ran out of room. Little contact, and here's the most recent caution right here. The 0-3 of Mike Wallace gets run into, gets turned down to the apron, going in turn number 1, does a nice job saving that truck.
Looked like Matt Craftsman said, I think I can fit in there.
Oh, maybe I did, maybe not.
I almost did.
There is the fixed front end of Mike Skinner. Again, the NASCAR official would have to allow him to go back out, so they must have agreed to what they had done. It is a green-white checkered finish for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Todd Bodine in front of Rick Crawford. The green flag about to come out. Bodine, Crawford, Benson, Leffler, and Setzer, your top five. 2 laps of racing to go.
If Rick Crawford can do anything on this restart with Todd Bodine, this may be the best time to do it. You see trucks all over the racetrack, underneath the yellow line, everywhere else.
Trucks are going to have to work together if they're going to try to get by Todd Bodine. Rick Crawford will have to have help from Johnny Vincent. Can he get help from another manufacturer? We're going to find out very soon.
We restarted this race as they completed lap number 92, so we only have 2 laps of racing, but this is not considered a green-white checker, so if something happens, we still could have a green-white checker.
It is a green-white checker, but it's not our last green-white checker if something goes wrong.
May not be.
But if they get back here to this white flag, it's official, and these guys are going to flare out. I'm telling you, they're going to get on the outside of Todd Bodine. He can't ride around on the bottom and win this race.
There's not enough patience back there. There's so much difference between winning and finishing second.
Through the tri-oval, across the start-finish line. White flag in the air. 2.66 miles remain. Bodine in front of Crawford.
There's Kyle Busch. He jumps to the outside. He's going to try to make something happen, and nobody is going with him.
Nobody goes with Kyle Busch as he moves to the outside. Will they try to make the move coming out of 2? Will they fan out and see if they can get by Todd Bodine?
What's Rick Crawford going to do? He's right now in second. Todd Bodine's our leader.
Crawford is going to wait till the last minute, it looks like.
Still single file through turn number 3. Rick's going to move up, try to get a little momentum. He needs to create a little bit of a gap to get some momentum.
This is it. Will Johnny Benson give Rick Crawford any help as they come through turn 4? Into the tri-oval they go. It's Todd Bodine. Now Johnny Benson looks to the outside. Here comes Rick Crawford. As he goes to the outside, it's Crawford on the outside. Bodine. And they go across the start-finish line. Bodine by 14 one-thousandths of a second in front of Crawford.
What a great finish. It almost looked like they may have waited too long. He got oh so close.
Johnny Benson moved to the inside. They do not like to cross the start-finish line 1 and 2 wide on these super speedways.
3 wide is the way to go.
Great job.
That was crazy.
Ready, you guys are awesome. This is what it's all about right here, boys. Enjoy it for a little bit because we got to go get ready to go to New Smyrna and Martinsville.
Mike Hillman Jr. there saying, hey, nice job, guys, but don't celebrate too long. We've got to worry about the next race.
He tried to stay dead on that bottom, but Johnny Benson said, I'm going to move you over. He won the race by staying on the bottom. But what a great finish. These guys fan out, but they don't fan out to what might have been just a little too late.
Johnny jumps to the inside. Todd leaves him a little bit of room. Here comes Rick Crawford on the outside. 3 wide at the start-finish line.
This is getting to be old hat for the Truck Series.
But you don't know how it's all going to work. You don't know how they're going to get to that point, but they always seem to get that way.
Let's ride along with Rick Crawford.
He jumps to the outside. Remember, Johnny Benson is over there on the inside. Rick says, maybe I got him. Is somebody behind me to help me push me?
Oh,
just so close.
12-1 or 14. 1/1000th of a second when they went across the start-finish line.
Yeah.
Todd Bodine about to celebrate once again in 2007. This is win number 2 for him. Take a look at our Fast and All Fast finish. We go to break. Todd Bodine, Crawford, Benson, Leffler, and Setzer, your top 5. We'll be back for Victory Lane after this. Welcome back. The fans saw another fantastic finish for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and they're all catching their breath right now as they head out of the grandstands. Let's take another look at how this one ended.
Well, we knew that they weren't going to just follow each other to the start-finish line. Rick jumps to the outside there. Johnny jumps to the inside. Jason was going to go through the grass.
I think what Johnny was waiting for was for Rick to make his jump so he could go with Rick and then make it 3 wide to the outside. Johnny finally got to the point where he said, well, darn it, you're not going to go soon enough. I got to go the other way. Here comes Jason.
Take a look at this. This is slow motion as they come up to the start-finish line. How close it is. 1/14,000th of a second separate these two trucks.
You have to have a pusher, it seems, to complete the deal. And no one ever went with Rick. Johnny was waiting. Rick waited.
With just a little bit of help, I think Rick Crawford might have done something. He had no help, and he got up within 14/1000th of a second.
With any help at all.
Adam Alexander's with him. Let's ask.
And Todd Bodine climbing from the race truck, checkered flag in hand for the 12th time in his career. Todd Bodine a winner in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. It was an entertaining day at Talladega, and when the smoke clears, you are a winner, my friend. How does it feel to be a victor at this place?
I can't believe it. I've run so many races here and been in that kind of situation at the end and never got it done, got shuffled out or whatever happened. We just got a great truck, this Lumber Liquidators Tundra. These guys built this thing. It's awesome. I mean, pole, win the race. I'm just a lucky guy driving.
How concerned were you on that last restart? Some pretty good ones behind you.
Yeah, I knew Rick really had a good truck. He was kind of sandbagging all day, but I knew he had a good truck, and I didn't know when he was going to make the move. He made it at the right time. He just didn't have anybody go with him.
The crew had to wait a while. How long was it for you before you knew you had won this race?
I knew when we crossed the start-finish line. I was looking over to see if I could see Rick's front end, and it wasn't there. I knew it.
A pole yesterday, a win today. Todd Bodine in victory lane, winning the Mountain Dew 250 at Talladega. Bob?
And you know what, Adam? It looked like a finish from a few years ago where Rick Crawford was side by side with a couple of other trucks, but that was Daytona, and that was a race that Rick Crawford won. How about this one? Oh, so close, Rick.
It was close. Been on both sides now. I'm one pulling a move off like that, and I run second pulling a move off like that. Talladega is just a little bit different for the Ford Power Stroke Diesel by International, and this Ford F-150. We need to make that move late in the tri-oval, and did to slingshot around him, but missed it by about 4 feet. And congratulations to Todd Bodine, great racer. Should have won here last year, and maybe got what he deserved.
today by winning, and we had a great run today. My hat's off to Cowboy Stall and everybody. What a great race here in Alabama, my home state, for the Speed Channel. How about that?
Hey, were you looking for Johnny Benson to pull out sooner to try to get a push from him?
Nah, Johnny's going to help Todd or try to beat Todd. So I knew I was home alone, but you know, what a great day. I was actually looking for John Roberts because I thought we was going to win. I'd be on the show in the morning. So, but anyway, second ain't too bad.
Second ain't too bad, and another exciting Craftsman Truck Series finish on Speed.
Well, here's what Johnny Benson saw. Now, he was looking at the back bumper of the top and I decided, well, no, I'm going to make this 3 wide.
And he's also looking out the mirror and saw Jason Leffler's trying to climb up underneath of him. I guarantee you, Johnny thought Rick would have gone a little bit sooner and he'd have been on his bumper.
3 wide once again in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. This time it's at Talladega Superspeedway. 14 one-thousandths of a second. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Toyota. Moving forward. By the official tools of NASCAR, Craftsman, and by Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership. Nobody beats Aaron's. Nobody. Let's go down to Bob Dillner.
Well, take a look at this, guys. This truck right here looks like it just ran Martinsville or Bristol, not Talladega. This is the front end of Johnny Benson's truck, and part of the reason why maybe you couldn't have tried to pull out and pass those top 2, right?
Yeah, that's not from bump drafting. That's just when Sprague blew up. But I mean, our Toyota certified used vehicle Tundra is pretty good, and Trip Bruce and guys did a great job. And right there at the end, I was like, when they did that one restart, I was like, guys, this thing will not move. I said, we need to do something. So we came in, didn't really want to do it with one to go, but Tripp said he could get it fixed, so we put a bunch of tape on it. Most of it didn't stay, but I pretty much had to stay in line until that last little bit. I'm sure the 14 wasn't going to go early. I couldn't go early. I didn't have anybody strong enough to push this thing right at the moment. So I just waited till the end. It would have been cool to be able to get by Todd, but just a little bit short. Ended up third, but it had to be a great race for the fans for sure.
It doesn't look good, Adam, but you know what? Good enough for a third-place finish for Johnny Benson.
It wasn't exactly picture-perfect for this guy, Ron Hornaday, either, but his 18th top 10 of the year. You've got the points lead back. Talk about your wild day, another top 10.
It was wild. I didn't know if I was going to run to the back or in the front, but I tell you, all the guys are great on this Camping World Chevrolet. It's so awesome to drive something like this. I would just get more upset at the guys on the outside. If they wanted the inside lane, they should have stayed there. They just kept crowding you down and getting you under the yellow, and you kept hitting your balance and going up there and running the side of them. So my truck's more tore up on the sides than it is anywhere else. It's because the guys want to run you down. But unbelievable. Man, it's good. I got to thank Kevin Delaney and everybody just giving an opportunity. And we got Tanner on the side. She passed away a week ago, and we got her on the side. So everything's cool. I mean, we're having fun.
5 races to go, and unofficially, Ron Hornaday, your point leader by 14 over Mike Skinner, guys.
Yeah, let's take a look at those points now. After we've completed our 20th event of the 25 race schedule for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, 14 the points difference between Hornaday and Skinner.
There was some room there for Travis to make something happen again, Phil. You know, if he hadn't had the trouble he had, he could have won this race or finished in the top 2 or 3. He'd have had that thing within working margin.
Yeah, I think we have to pretty much count him out now. But let's take a look at this finish again. You see Rick Crawford jumps to the outside of Todd Bodine. Johnny Benson jumps to the inside. They come across 3 wide again here at Talladega.
And Jason Leffler running 4th right on the back bumper of Todd Bodine. Less than a 1/10 of a second back when he crossed the start-finish line.
Now, how would you like to finish 4th and only be a 1/10 of a second behind? Like, how do you fit that many people ahead of you?
How about this statistic? The separation that we have had here at Talladega is the closest margin of victory we've had all year long, and this is the biggest racetrack we go to. How do you do that?
Well, you have people that say, we're going to be patient, we're going to focus, and then they start the engines and they don't do any of that.
That string between their foot and their brain breaks.
They forget all of that when the engine fires up.
I mean, you would believe them when they tell you that. You'd be like, oh.
They're sincere.
Yeah.
I mean, they're sincere. They mean well.
Todd Bodine grabs his 12th career victory and his 85th career start. It's his second win of 2007. He won earlier at Texas. It's the second time he's won from the pole. And so, Talladega Superspeedway lives up to its billing once again. When the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series head to the high banks, they put on the best show in NASCAR. Martinsville in 2 weeks.